Good evening, everyone, and welcome in for some Week 3 action here at DMV Rivals. We've got an interesting match between the Lil Mac attackers, still undefeated in the Swiss stage, and Pest Control. We are right away into draft, and already some picks that have emerged as powerful champions already off the board. We've got Capalot already on his Gwen. They had a fantastic performance on over in week 2, and that is usually banned away from him. Pest Control also getting the Twitch that has seen a whole lot of play thus far in DMV Rivals. And Pest Control has had good performances on it. It's been banned against them, but they get the Rat here. They'll pair it up with the Shinzao, as we'll see what the answer is into the Twitch. Have to expect that this is usually paired with the Enchanters, but Pest Control have been willing to just throw Utah and engage no matter what. So definitely still some options here to be paired with the Twitch. He will be going up against the Jhin there for Lil Mac. Jhin, typically a nice neutralizer in lane that people like into things like Kalista, like Caitlyn. Twitch, definitely not typically going to be a lane bully, and don't really expect that to be the case regardless of what he's paired with. So Jhin, just a nice utility pick down there with the Nautilus, providing some CC to help Capalot carry from the jungle position. We do, on the side of Pest Control, have Easy Hister subbing into the jungle, so he's going to be the one to pick up the Shinzao in this game, but we're probably going to have to see what Utah's going to play, and it is going to be the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank has gotten banned away a fair bit throughout DMV so far, and, you know, over in DMV Winter, Utah was not on the best of teams, but he was trying to will them to victory from the support position, and he played Blitzcrank a lot there. Not a typical pick with the Twitch. You tend to just see it with the Enchanter, but they're giving Utah some playmaking and the ability to really maybe decide the game on this Blitzcrank. As we move along to the next phase of bans, both teams going to have to figure out what they want to play in the solo lanes. Vladimir, Garen, Ornn, and now Malzahar and Ahri already banned away. We'll see what kind of blind pick Pest Control wants, given that the Vlad is banned, and they just go immediately for that Syndra. Meanwhile, on the side of Lil Mac attackers, Burrito Bear has been more of a facilitator in the mid lane. He's been playing some Galio, or he's been playing a backline mage like the Victor. Victor into Syndra can be a bit tough at certain phases, but you also maybe don't want to just bring the full AP mage when you're pairing yourself with this strong AP carry in the Gwen. We will see Mbessa be the blind pick for I Can't Win, and that aforementioned Galio to try to combo with it. So they have all this CC that the bot lane can provide for the initial engage. Make sure Mbessa hits her R, and then Galio flies in over the top, and Capalot supplies the damage on the Gwen. Seems to be a robust formula, given that the best disengage that Pest Control can really come up with right now is the Shinzao Crescent Guard. And so we'll see if they want to give themselves a bit better peel with the top lane. Definitely a lot of tanks available that they could take into the Mbessa, but one of the reasons Mbessa is not typically blind picked, even before she got nerfed, was the Renekton answer. So Pest Control giving carrying boats a carry up here in the top lane. He has not had great performances thus far, but he has been up against some of the better top laners in the league throughout these first 2 weeks. Now he's got the Renekton, and we'll see if he can apply enough pressure before Mbessa gets her plated. Steel Captain is then immune against Renekton and Shinzao up there. Looking through here to make sure we're not missing anything. Yep. Looks like Easy Hister is the only sub for today, piloting the jungle Shinzao for Pest Control. As Pest Control look to get back on their feet after getting walloped by Bumbo Aura farmers last week. And the comp they've got cooking feels a bit reliant on getting those early advantages, on getting some good Blitzcrank hooks early in to get this Twitch in a good position to get to those objectives first so that Blitzcrank can wait in fog and throw out the left hand from fog. Because if Blitzcrank gets behind, he is not going to do much to help his Twitch and Syndra just get completely targeted and a Galio dropped on their head. So do feel like the onus is going to be on Pest Control to get this game under control early and keep it that way. We do have a bit of a pause as we are awaiting I Can't Win, I believe, to check in, but we'll take a little break as the teams prep to get on the Rift. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's time for game number 1 between the Lil Mac attackers looking to continue their winning ways here in DMV versus Pest Control going to rebound from a tough week 2 bout. And off the rip, it is going to be a fairly aggressive lane here with the Blitzcrank Twitch. We got Hail of Blades, we got Ignite. They definitely want to try to get this going early for the Twitch. Throughout DMV, we've seen plenty of times where the Twitch cheese is magnificently done. Nice smoked Gouda down there. And there's other times where the Twitch himself gets absolutely smoked, and there's no hope of ever recovering. Kamikaze does have a game more in line with the former, more in line with that good charcuterie cheese. We'll see how well he can fare here as early Nautilus hook comes out, but Blitzcrank hook in response, and Nautilus, he triggers the Aftershock first. It does take a fair bit of damage on the way out. We also see I Can't Win up on this top side, taking the Ignite into the counterpick Renekton matchup. We will have a nice hook from Yuta underneath the tower. Curse of Dragon's getting fairly low, but Nautilus will be tanky enough. Boat's trying to fight the Embess off this wave. Aegis just trying to pass through mid lane. We'll take a good bit of a chunk for it. And alright, so Aegis are going to be a bit slower on the clear than the Gwen when it comes to that bot lane scuttle. And with the early bot lane aggression, the early back from Dragons, we'll see how that bot lane contest goes. Gwen already moving her way to it, while Xin Zhao is still working away on 2 camps. Burrito Bear, nice job getting aggressive with the level advantage, has the Storm Raider Surge to show himself out. Nose Potato is low on the mana, so the Galio should be able to just press this forward and make sure that that bot crab is sole property of the Gwen, and it is probably going to be a double crab here with the work that Burrito has put in with that wave in the mid lane. So Easiest are going to be hurting a bit for that pit stop in mid. And we saw with Capalot's Gwen last week was a relatively tame game where he wasn't able to create a lot of early action. Just kind of farmed up as the map was falling out around him and was able to make it work when the deciding fights came due. So expect to see simple, efficient farming or a stop in the top lane as Ignite gets dropped by I Can't Win. Carrying boats actually almost had himself a solo kill. Can't Win maybe playing a bit too aggressive for the bait. Gwen not gonna really provide much at this point to pin down the Renekton. Will eventually just be that recall and Capalot heading back out to clear away his camps on the second rotation. Easy Hister took his back, picked up 2 long swords before restarting his. Dragons is going to pit stop in mid while his AD is taking the route back to lane after getting low on mana and need to take that first base for the pickaxe. Twitch going to take his first back as well with the BF sword, so a decent bit of advantage accrued by Kamikaze and Yuta in that bot lane. Same for I Can't Win with a 20 CS lead into this counter matchup. Burrito Bear has hit the level 6, and he actually is going to Justice Punch in, but Easy Hister is around. Burrito Bear has the Storm Raider Surge speed, but there's a Xin Zhao in on top of him. The scatter connects, and nice first blood there from Easy Hister. Meanwhile, Dredgeline in the bot lane. Good damage off the Kamikaze. He's got to pop the barrier and the Q. Try to get himself out of there. A nice little mid play from Easy Hister. Knew that Burrito Bear was playing quite aggressive, looking for those trades with the Justice Punch. And they are able to swiftly punish the Galio. We'll see how that impacts Burrito's capability of getting out onto the map with the level 6 as nice rocket grab there onto the Null. It's going to chunk him out quite a bit. He has to burn the heal, but the poison and the expunge finds the kill for the Twitch. Now, meanwhile, in top lane, got a scuffle up here. Karen Boat's not going to pop the Dominus. Going to just wait for the chunk and try to work this wave in. Capalot would have loved to continue his full clear with a dragon, but will not be the case after his support gets hooked out. We'll maybe have a top lane pit stop from Capalot as he cleans up the top crab, but another dredge line in onto Yuta. He does not have his flash, so does have the mana barrier passive as Kamikaze is going to try to defend his little robot, but Lil Mac's going to flash in with the fort shot, finds the kill, and a nice dredge line again out from the Nautilus. It's curtains for the bot lane as Lil Mac finds a double kill. Yuta and Kamikaze maybe trying to press the lead a bit too much. Yuta, without flash, gets hooked out, and not really much they're going to be able to do in those trades where the Nautilus is just so much more naturally tanky than the Blitzcrank. And the insult to injury with Dragons finding the second dredge line through the corpse of the falling robot. So, nice little pickup there to get this Jhin back in a solid position. He's down a good couple of waves, but now definitely equalizing the gold here. And now Yuta with the roam in mid lane. Birdo's going to flash, but he's knocked into the air. Gets hit by the scatter. There's going to be the rocket grab, but they don't really have the damage. And now with Curse of Dragons here, he's just flashing in on top of the Syndra. He leaves the Blitzcrank to his jungler, but they can't get the extra on the way out. Twitch lurking around, seeing what he can dig up, but it's just going to be the wave. Yuta thought he had a good play out in the mid lane, but just a couple of null magic mantles more than enough to make Burrito Bear feel pretty comfortable soaking up the Syndra combo and making sure that his jungler gets there for the response. So will still be a Cloud Dragon to the side of Pest Control. Traded out for the Void Grubs in the top side. Right now, it does seem like both sides pretty content to just farm this one out, get their junglers full clearing here. See if that Xin Zhao can work up to that first item, Titanic. Get that maybe ahead of the Gwen's Nashor's. Titanic, a good bit more of an expensive spike compared to the usual Sundered Sky. But a lot of people like the Titanic build. And the team out definitely helps Xin Zhao keep up in the jungle against the AP clearers. Burrito Bear with a nice trade, but he does tank up a few tower shots before getting his Storm Raider Surge. Now we have a hook in bot into the depth charge, and the Blitzcrank's going lower and lower, but so is the Nautilus. The Ignite from the robot gets the kill, and now the Curtain Call isn't going to find any purchase, but Kamikaze needs to make himself scarce because the Galio's on his way. Meanwhile, in topside, Easy History is going to look for this gank onto I Can't Win. Wind becomes lightning, doesn't connect, but he's going to flash for it. Finds the knock up, but there's nothing left in the CC for this Mbessa, so Can't Win doesn't even have to burn the flash. Easy Hister Maybe kind of forcing the play up there, but definitely happy that I can look bot and see the Twitch and Bloodstrength winning out in the 2v2. Carrying Boats is actually going to bait I Can't Win here. Does still have the dominance, but isn't really going to commit to it. Just going to go for another wave. The Gwen is working her way up here. Should be able to avoid that Pixel Ward until it is too late. We'll see if Carrying Boats can get out. As meanwhile, Easy Hister, with that completed Hydra, is quite a scary opposition. But now here comes the combo. Mbessa, Galio ult, and the Gwen here for good measure. Meanwhile, in bot lane, though, Lil Mac needs to flash away as Easy Hister can't quite find the kill. Flash forward from the Twitch. Nautilus going to pin him down, and they actually can't find Lil Mac through the barrier, through the flash. So the top lane play goes just as they planned for the side of Lil Mac attackers. But meanwhile, there's going to be another kill in the bot lane for Pest Control as Yuta rips that Nautilus off his anchor, and they will gift Kamikaze with plenty of plates. Going to do the same with Cap a lot here in the top lane. I Can't Win proxying the wave in the meanwhile. Yuta is going to look here. Burrito Bear does not have flash, and Easy Hister is dealing a good bit of burst damage here. Burrito has a double taunt, trying to now fight back, gets the Keystone movement speed as Easy Hister dashes in, but he goes way too deep. Reinforcements arrive, and even though the curtain call isn't quite a showstopper, it's still a kill for the Gwen. As now Potato Senpai needs to be careful here. Flash for flash in the mid lane, as meanwhile, Carrying Boats trying to pressure I Can't Win. I mean, we are seeing both teams kind of play to what they want to do. The Gwen has been building the farm lead, has been picking up a few kills here and there to get herself to a good carry position. As Ignite is dropped onto Carrying Boats, but I Can't Win without that ult. Not really going to commit any further. Yeah, we saw the Mbessa Gallo combo up in top to try to snowball the Mbessa, snowball the Gwen here for Lil Mac attackers. Meanwhile, Pest Control playing around the bot side. They get the lead for their Twitch. They're trying to get Yuta out on the map. We're also seeing Yuta go for a bit of a, we'll call it a damage build. But he is for sure dead here. As actually nice flash out before the rest of the CC comes out. Dragon is on the map. I don't think Yuta minds missing his flash all too much. But his Twitch definitely will. Mbessa ult, Galio ult, almost Nautilus ult available for this upcoming Dragon fight. I Can't Win just waltzing his way down here on the Mbessa, and you feel like with that additional man, with the control over this Banana Brush, it should be an easy Dragon for LMA. They'll even TP I Can't Win back up top, so he's not going to lose all too much. They could maybe try to call Carrying Boats down here, as Potato is maybe going to look to contest. Burrito Bear is low. They get the Infernal Dragon, but the Galio is very low. Meanwhile, this side, Capalock getting chunked out by Yuta. Now Galio trying to make the entrance here with the double knockup, but the Shroud does so much work for Capalot. He's able to survive, and they kill off the Xin Zhao. The scatter may cancel the curtain call, but there's Capalot waiting in on the side. So the side of Pest Control try for a late contest. They try to fight the 4v4. It does not go in their favor. There's not quite enough damage in this Twitch to pull out those kind of fights. When the Galio, when the Gwen can create so much space. And when there isn't really a good escape plan for this Twitch, if he does step too far. But now Lil Mac may have overextended. Oh my god, the Malignant's rocket grab into the Blitzcrank shutdown. That's what you want to see. The Blitzcrank getting 500 gold. He's getting up there with the Dark Seal stacks. Of course, would have preferred that kill going to a Xin Zhao, but still a good pick out in the side lane. Should be able to convert that into some plates, but Mbessa is working her way down here, and so is Capella on Curse of Dragon. So they need to be a bit careful around overcommitting for this tower. Raider Bear has worked his way behind enemy lines. Going to find a combo onto Easyester, but I mean, your jungler needs to just take a base, get back to his top camp, so we're not going to stress too much over that. Meanwhile, I Can't Win. Gonna just go ahead and pick up an entire bot tower. It is quite the top side lead for the side of LMA. As Curse is just gonna try to strut on up here. Doesn't find the dredge line, and now he is going to be put on the other end of the hook. Nice kill for Easyhister. Now Capelot wants to get on in here. Has the needle work, and Easyhister is very low. Another round of the ultimate, and that's going to be a kill for the Gwen. So even with the Nautilus, kind of just whiffing, it is still 1-for-1 at the end. And I Can't Win. Maybe looking for his opportunity. Decides against it. So we're again seeing Capelot build a huge lead on this Gwen. Last time we saw it, it was kind of just due to farming and trying to keep his CS count up while the game was not going great in his 3 lanes. This time, his lanes are a lot more stable. And he's able to pick up these kills here and there where the enemy team goes a bit too far, knows his damage, and they can just combo out this flashless Xin Zhao. As meanwhile, we have a play in bot side. The scatter connects, and this time Yuta so generous as to give the kill over to a carry. Carrying boats is pretty far behind in this one, as is Easyhister compared to their opposition, but can certainly pay good dividends if they can find the right targets in these fights. Herald going to crash through Curse of Dragons, able to dredge line out to safety. I mean, we talked about how this Twitch was maybe getting off to the races, had a good, stable early game. Not really the case. He's now fallen a bit behind the Jhin as far as gold is concerned. We'll see if either AD can work themselves up to that second item before the next dragon. A bit unlikely. We already have 2 items complete on the top side for I Can't Win and Capelot. So this dragon test is going to be quite a bit difficult for the side of Pest Control. I Can't Win. Down in the bot side again, doing his due diligence, cleaning out the vision. Burrito Bear does not have his TP, while Potato Senpai does. But the Galio ult does mean Burrito Bear can show up at a moment's notice. And they're actually going to try to converge on the Galio. They're going to give up on the Dragon and see if they can open up the game through the side lane. So Burrito Bear is going to try to Justice Punch, but he's still rocket grabbed back by the Blitzcrank. And the Unleashed Power is going to help seal that kill. So Dragon should be secured by the side of low Mac attackers, and they're able to lay siege to the mid lane tower as well. Meanwhile, carrying boats with a nice little combo, but if we're not committing dominance, we're never getting the kill. Tower taken in top side in Retribution. We'll see how far LMA is willing to split the map for now. It'll just be I Can't Win on his lonesome as Capelot and Curse of Dragons head back to base. Oh, a nice little deadly flourish out from Lil Mac. Current Call isn't quite going to find its mark on the squishy Blitzcrank, but the Easyhister can't take the portal. Nice cancel with the smite. And now the jungler could be caught out here. 6-0-2 for Capelot's Gwen. And they're going to look towards the Baron as the cherry on top. Oh, Kamikaze looking to make a play in mid. He's opening up on Lil Mac. Has the Galio. to reinforce. So that is the Twitch ult being used, and now here comes the public execution from I Can't Win. They go right on top of the Syndra. She's got no way to play, and meanwhile the Baron shall be slain here by the side of LMA. So you see the side of Pest Control trying to find these extra plays as they seed the objectives. They look for the play on the Galileo up top. They get the tower down on this play for the Renekton. They try to get the mid play onto Lil Mac, but at the end of the day, the big cash, the big objectives are going the way of the Lil Mac attackers. And now we'll see how they want to allocate stuff with this Baron. This is a 3-item Gwen. She can be pretty powerful in the side lane in her own right if they want to do some kind of 1-3-1. As meanwhile, Yuta is going to be caught out a bit here. Easy Hister is going to arrive, though. And actually, I Can't Win is going to get taken down. Easy Hister, though, now going to be surrounded. There's the Dredge line from Cursed Dragons. Kamikaze trying to open up, but he doesn't have the ultimate. Now he's going to have the depth charge dropped in on top of him. The Twitch is going to try to flash away, but Capelot's there to snip the rat down to size. Capelot looking for maybe more carrying boats, trying to keep it going with the dominance, but he is out of luck as his team is already outnumbered. They've already lost a couple men, and they will lose a Croc as well. Feels like things are falling apart now for Pest Control, committing a bit too much to try to salvage that play when the Twitch doesn't have ulti. Does waste his flash and still goes down all the same, but now the siege is going to continue. Mid lane tower going to be taken out here, but, I mean, it is only 22 minutes. Respawns pretty fast, and Burrito Bear is going to get caught unawares. And so, you know, a little bit of a hiccup at the end there, but there's still some time on this Baron buff if they want to do anything with it on the side of LMA. They've already opened up a decent gold bean, and I think they're looking to do even more, as, oh dear, that Twitch is gone. It is a nice public execution from the fog. I Can't Win. Looking very nice on this Mbessa. Yeah, I mean, the Mbessa blind pick, not something we typically see because of the Renekton in response, but coming out of lane, even, taking the towers, so probably more than even, all things considered. So, very nice job by I Can't Win, carrying boats and Pest Control. Not really able to punish with this last pick, Renekton. It's also worth saying that, you know, we left Capelot Gwen up. And this guy has been fantastic thus far in DMV Rivals. You know, he does draw the bans on weird stuff like the Cho'Gath. But, hey, you give him something that I guess is down his priority list in the Gwen. He continues to have great performances. 9-0-2 here. And the keys of the game are most certainly in his hands. We'll see if the Twitch, I guess, is able to rip it out of him because Kamikaze... Oh, no, he's just going to get caught. Nice job by I Can't Win. Again, striking from the shadows as now the 4-man crew of Pest Control needs to scatter. They're going to try to fight their way out here with their bruisers. They already lose their Blitzcrank, and now Curtain Call is looking to call curtains on this game. Galio's going to crash down over the top. Potatoes caught. Carrying boats is not going to fare much better. Another deadly flourish from the Jhin to lock that one up, and that should be a done deal for game number 1. Carrying Boats is able to fight back and actually find the kill on the Galio. But hey, he's just delaying the inevitable. Kamikaze has 5 seconds before he respawns, but he will not have many teammates to try to help defend the base. They will lay off. They're going to decide, you know what? We've been winning this game easy. Let's just go wrap it up. Get that 3rd dragon. Don't do anything too stupid. Don't do anything too silly in the base. And Carrying Boats is actually able to get out after getting the kill onto Burrito Bear. So give him something there as Renekton's able to escape. It is going to be another dragon, though, for the side of LMA. You know, you can look at the gold lead and say, hey, you know what? It's only about 5K, you know? Teams can fight back from this, but just doesn't feel like any moment of this game has been the way that, oh dear, and the Twitch has been caught. He's revealed. Depth charge. We're going to ignore that public execution because the kill is still there for the style. It's cap a lot. 10-0-4 now. 4 items strong on this Gwen. Just been gifted kill after kill. That curse and the I can't win keep finding for him. Yeah, I mean, 5K gold may not feel like too much, you know, only down inhibitor, but does not feel like Pest Control have ever had a fight that they can win. They're going to get a nice hook back, though, and that's a big shutdown, but it goes to your AP Blitzcrank. Easy Hister is going to fall in recompense. That's the kind of thing you would love to have for a real champion. You'd love to have it for your rat. But no, the reason we're only looking at a 4K gold lead is because of the 1K gold lead on this Blitzcrank. Which isn't going to go to much. He's got the Storm Surge. He's got the Malignance. He's going to be picked off by the public execution. Gone in a moment's notice. And now Kamikaze trying to flash away. Kites out the Mbessa. That's a nice kill for the Twitch. But Carrying Boats, meanwhile, soaking up damage from the Jhin. And he cannot hold firm. It is going to be a second inhibitor falling on the top side. Baron's on the map. So, you know, Yuta's rocket grab maybe delaying the game a bit. No jungler until now for the side of LMA. We'll see if they want to commit to this. I mean, feels like a pretty simple pull. I mean, Twitch has no summoners, no ultimate. Feel like this Baron should be a very easy take for the side of LMA. They get Kappa back in the pit. Yuta, he doesn't have a spellbook smite. This rocket grab's going to do a lot of damage, but it doesn't even connect. So, I don't know exactly how, you know, maybe a Knight's Vow wouldn't have been too useful this game. Maybe a Locket wouldn't be too useful this game with how much damage this Mbessa and Gwen are dealing. We'll see if Kamikaze has some choice words for his support's itemization choices this game. But it has been a rough game for Pest Control as a whole, as a team. You know, we can't just put it all on a couple item purchases. They haven't really found their purchase around any of these objectives. They haven't been able to link the Twitch up to really open up in these fights. People just getting picked off. And speaking of which, that Blitz W is going to slow him eventually, but a nice little flash will get Yuta out to safety. 90 seconds before Hextech Soul is on the map. Kamikaze is gonna see what he can do about that. He is on 3 items, but it's gonna be a while until he's really hurting anyone. Kapala especially just going forward with immunity of that Shroud. They break the last inhibitor tower, but we'll play it patient around the inhib itself. Kamikaze trying to look for an angle here with the ambush, but it's not much to do. Gallo able to push away in sides with a hero entrance to join whenever. Current Call just going to clear the way for the last inhibitor to fall. They get the stun onto Curse. They proc the Celestial Opposition. As now Yuta does find the hook onto I Can't Win. Look at the burst from that static field, but I Can't Win is still able to survive. Now Depth Charge finds 3 knockups, and Carrying Boats can only buy so much time. Scatter hits, but Capalot is free to just snip away, flash away from Potato as Burrito Bear rejoins the fray. He's trying to get involved, has the Crescent Guard as he's duking out with Cursed Dragons. The Nautilus is low, but he's not going to fall just yet. No kills yet as Burrito Bear finally falls to the Twitch. Capalot stacking up that Q, and now here comes the public execution. I Can't Win over the top. Will certainly be doing some winning here in game number 1. The inhibitor towers are down. The Nexus towers are down. the last little rocket grab to try to get some little cheese on the platter for the Twitch. But he is going to fall before his Nexus does. Game 1 going the way of the Lil Mac attackers. Yeah, just a game that, no matter what the gold lead really said, feels like every situation was in Lil Mac Attack's favor. If the Twitch did not have summoners, there was no chance of Pest Control finding a way to combat them in this game. Had moments on the side of Pest Control, had some good plays from Shinzao from the Blitzcrank, but it's not meant to be good, stable play from the side of LMA. Didn't even really see the combo all too much of the Mbessa and the Galio, but everyone doing their jobs, doing it well, and getting them this game 1 victory. Alrighty, we're back for game number 2 between Lil Mac attackers and Pest Control. Draft already very much underway with quite a few spicy picks on either side. We do have Senna Zaya, an interesting pairing on the side of Pest Control. You know, Riot doesn't know what they want Senna to be, but they sure know they want her to be good. And so, while not a typical pairing, it'll probably work out somehow, as they'll be into the Jinx Thresh on the side of Low Mac attackers. And it's going to be Gragas, likely in the top lane for Low Mac attackers, given that the Nidalee is already there for Cap a lot. So they do cushion themselves some good AP damage thus far. We'll see what they want to go into the LeBlanc. They were hovering the Scion earlier. Wouldn't hate a Scion mid, completely honestly, but they're going to go with the Victor. So a very AP heavy top side for the Lil Mac attackers, and Pest Control still with the option to pick a top laner here. You could see the Wukong flex, I suppose. But I mean, with that LeBlanc, you like having the utility of the Senna. You like having some CC from the Wukong, but there's not a whole lot of playmaking in it. But hey, the typical, hey, I see a lot of magic resist, see a lot of magic damage on the enemy team. I'm the Spirit Visage champion. It's Dr. Mundo clocking in the top lane. Should do fairly well into Gragas. Gragas can definitely get edges early, poke him down, and wear down this Mundo. But as the game wears on, can definitely see a lot of value in the Mundo. But we'll say Mundo Bell's typically trying to stack health these days, not so much just a pure, oh, I'm building Spirit Visage champion. And so we'll see how that Mundo is able to perform for Pest Control. Has been more in line, perhaps, with what they've been playing up top. Stuff like Shen, stuff like Scion, now the Mundo. I'm definitely curious to see how Yuta and Kamikaze perform on a Zaya Senna pairing. That is very unique. And I mean, there was one part of the map going all right. It was that bot lane early on. Meanwhile, Jinx Thresh, a nice tried and true combo. They don't want to completely lock the support out of making plays in general with an enchanter, though I do feel that's maybe sometimes the better option. So it'll be Thresh for Curse of Dragons to try to help the Jinx out. Yeah, I mean, Nidalee, a very interesting pick from Cap a lot. Haven't seen him on him yet. Has been drawing the Cho'Gath bands, the Lee Sin bands, the Viego bands, but showing the pool can go into AP as well beyond just the Gwen here. And, you know, in lieu of a regular enchanter, like a Lulu, Nidalee can kind of be that. The Primal Surge heal can do quite a lot in the Echoes of Helia build. You give an attack speed steroid to your AD carry. Something tells me Capella is not going to be building a supportive item, but we'll see how he wants to play it out here on this Nidalee. I do have confirmation that he's picked one of the worst Nidalee skins, so it is unfortunate. It's counteracted by his bot lane, so he should be fine, and his top lane. So skin game should be A-okay for Lil Mac attackers. We are onto the Rift, and immediately Easy Hister is forced to flash. They catch him out on the 5-man invade. Get that early ward on his Raptors. Meanwhile, one pick kind of glossed over as, okay, Cursed Dragons cannot return to lane the usual way. Is going to have to flash. after that level 1 shenanigans, so we'll see if either of those flashes end up being punished. Yeah, one of the picks kind of failed to talk too much about was this LeBlanc. I'm not the biggest LeBlanc fan. She has to get pretty far ahead to do her job. And even then, it's like, okay, 1 CC. If you have to put yourself in harm's way to get your damage off, and 1 CC and you're popped. But, hey, instant CC isn't quite there from a Thresh. Isn't quite there from a Victor. So, you can see perhaps some value there from Potato playing the Ignite LeBlanc to get that early lead. I can't win. Doing the same up there on the Gragas, so what would typically be a bad laning phase for the Gragas as he gets worn down by Comet Poke might be worse with the way I can't win, taking the Electrocute, taking the Ignite, definitely playing for those all-in combos. We will see Capalot cross for an invade here. It will be on Vision. They know Wukong definitely started bot side because of his play onto Curse of Dragons and the fact that they don't see him on the Raptor ward. Some early jungle shenanigans on both sides, as I believe it was a... Why doesn't the keys work? Nice, the W key just does not work. Genius. Nice job, Riot. And now no key works. Excellent. First blood. There, it's traded. I love this client. So, LeBlanc is able to get some kind of lead with that early Ignite, but either way, is traded out at the very least for this Victor, which I don't think Burrito Bear minds too much. Definitely would rather just be a stable lane up against the LeBlanc, but getting something. Definitely not going to complain, as carrying boats, as long as he evades the spear with no CC, he should be fine. And he is. He does pop the ghost up there on the Mundo, but yeah, I think we saw Easy Hister do an early invade on the red. So Capalot doing 4 camps into crossing and taking away the top side for both. As meanwhile, Easy Hister makes his way into the mid lane. Nidalee is here, but doesn't have the Surge heal, so Easy Hister with a nice little kill. Wukong already off to a nice start. Dictated it early with an invade. And making sure that his LeBlanc stays ahead as they get Burrito Bear after the teleport. Capalot Nidalee is going to be spotted out as he tries to pounce his way to the bot lane, but, I mean, there's no flash. Or, excuse me, there's no missing flashes to punish, so Kamikaze and Utah going to be A-okay. Easy Hister looking for another gank here, because that wave is not in the best of spots for Burrito Bear. He sidesteps the distortion, has some Q movement speed, but a nice little chain from Potato Senpai will lock down another kill. I may not be a fan of LeBlanc, but when she gets 3 early kill and assists, hard to complain if you're Potato Senpai. And Burrito Bear, he's on a champion that he is more than comfortable with. Played this Victor a lot, but is going to be maybe a good bit weaker than he would like. Even if you're playing this to just kind of scale up and play out the lane. Definitely not the spot he wants to be in. Meanwhile, things pretty even on the bot side, as even with the Senna pushing away in a dual range advantage. Lil Mac and Curse able to pick up their CS even underneath the tower. Potato Senpai with the level 6, going to get aggressive as meanwhile in top lane. Level 6 is hit up there as well. Curse is going to look for the hook, doesn't find it. He is going to flash Flay, but the Lantern isn't there for Capalot. They're going to look for the Spirit, only hits onto the Zai. Meanwhile, on top lane, Carrying Boats has to crank the dosage to escape the gank. Now, There's the damage from the Nidalee, but it's not enough. And the root collar and the dodge on the spear. The zap, though, connects Yuta trying to get the last heal. But Curse's hook will put Senna right back to where she started. So wasn't initially thinking that gank's going to work when the hook misses, when there's no lantern to immediately bring Capulet in, but when the spear doesn't find its mark on the low champion. But they make it work. Glacial Augment slows helping out a lot, and now Potato looking for another kill onto this Victor, and they just pop him. Capulet is here, but he is too late to save his mid lane. Well, we definitely know what the recipe is for the side of Pest Control. They are playing through this mid jungle as much as they possibly can. There's no Merc Treads on the horizon for Burrito Bear to try to stem the bleeding here, as a lot of these champions would like to do. So LeBlanc definitely going to see how much she can push her influence here on the map with this early lead. Easiester looking to do the same. Moving in with his mid laner and his support by his side. Capulet is going to be here, and we're going to have a scuffle as Potato needs to get himself out of there. Does almost get the kill onto Curse, but nothing doing there. Does drop the Ignite. As we're going to have another play in bot lane. Lantern is there for the Nidalee, and without flash, Yuta doesn't get hit by the spear. Does get hit by the zap. So we'll see if they try to continue this play. Last Death Sentence not going to connect, as meanwhile, it is a 2-level lead for Potato Senpai in the mid lane. Chaos Storm to try to get some control of this lane back for Burrito, but he is down 30 CS. Does at least have the Lost Chapter to clear away these waves, but he is under constant duress from the threat of this LeBlanc. Easiester does find a play onto Burrito, and oh dear, it's an easy face check. The flash of hope is ambitious there, as Burrito Bear has been responsible for all 5 of his team's deaths, as again, the game plan, play around this mid-jungle 2v2. Not the most stable thing with LeBlanc Wukong, but they are definitely making it work. Potato Senpai off to the races. And Easiester should be looking at a fairly early Triforce for his troubles. And I mean, LeBlanc definitely a champion that's in Potato Senpai's wheelhouse, right? He's been playing stuff like the Aurora, the Twisted Fate, these champions that want to get active and make these kind of plays, not just sit back and be a control mage. And now he's trying to get down into the bot lane, combo in onto the Thresh. The box was not up in time, so Thresh not able to really fight back too much. We're going to see that very early Triforce here from Easiester, so feels like the map should just belong to Pest Control right now, as there's the cast back. Ultimate for ultimate. Dawning Shadow to make sure the Mundo doesn't fall, but I don't think I Can't Win had anything really left in the tank or in the barrel or in the brewery. Try to finish that job. So that is a costly ultimate, but even still, the lead that the mid-jungle of Easiester and Potato have should mean that this early dragon is very difficult for the side of LMA to contest. They're going to try to work their way through the bot lane. Yuta's flash is back up. Does get hit by the spear smite for the slow and a lot of instant damage onto this Senna, but actually a flash. Oh, Curse trying to play the mind game, flashing in on the Zion and trying to hook the Senna, but Yuta now playing aggressive again, gets zapped out. Easy Hister is here. Cyclone in tow, so LMA need to call this play off. Meanwhile, in mid, oh dear. It's a disaster. Potato Senpai continuing to just dominate in the mid lane. Storm Surge complete and nothing really for Burrito Bear to do but recite another eulogy. Dragon picked up on the bot side as well. So, we are seeing the early game definitely go in the favor of Pest Control. Game 1, fairly stable early game where you felt like the scaling and just the team fighting prowess of their champions was going to win out on the side of Lil Mac attackers. This time, hey, it's not even a 2k gold lead just yet because of the leads in the side lanes. But Potato Senpai is going to maybe get caught out here. The chain misses, and maybe Caplot can convert, but here comes the Wukong Cyclone, and the King of the Jungle is looking to slap him down with the staff. The Lantern doesn't get Caplot out in time, but a nice death sentence should finish off Easy Hister. Meanwhile, I Can't Win with a massive shutdown. Traded back as the Mundo made his way down the river as well. So, a lot of chaos around that Banana Brush check. Ends in a 2-for-2, but there's no support to help Lil Mac in the bot lane. The Root Caller doesn't quite find the mark from Kamikaze. Yuta started tanking the tower. Oh, dear. He at least doesn't give a kill over. I don't know if that was a... I don't know if that was a Deathfire touch or something out there, but started tanking the tower back again, and at least there's no gold going, but does mean that now there's maybe a counter punch. As Cursed Dragon makes his way back in, and Kamikaze actually just walks up and dies. Maybe wasn't expecting a box flay from a Thresh in melee range. So, definitely something Lil Mac and Cursed Dragons are happy to have. After living under their tower for most of this game. Picking up a nice freebie. As Potato's going to go in for another plant to Burrito Bear, but this time the Nidalee is here to provide the heal. We are seeing the Mundo try to get his legs under him up here. I Can't Win has built a little under 30 CS lead for himself with this Gragas, but, the Mundo's starting to fight back a bit here with this Warmogs. With the ability to just continue scaling up. As that Zed sentence connects from Curse the Dragons, Yuta's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. They're going to ward the flash, but that's not going to stop Yuta from doing it, as he is going to escape. Nice find by Curse the Dragons. Got himself quite a nice Thresh game thus far. Oh, a nice hook from Curse to hook that around the minions, but the snap traps were not quite there for the Flame Chomper. Snap traps for the other champion. Caplot is going to continue hovering around this bot side, and another hook comes through. Damage onto Yuta. The Senna is going to fall to the Nidalee. As meanwhile, do we have a counterpunch up in top lane? Wukong has snaked his way around. I Can't Win. Going to just cast the wave and try to find something onto the Mundo, but he is A-okay. Meanwhile, in mid, Potato Senpai doesn't quite find the combo he needs. Flash still used by Burrito Bear. And so I think Potato Senpai will absolutely take that win. And now go for the combo here. Ignite is not enough to claim that kill, but Curse is playing between towers here as Thresh. He'll be fine. Meanwhile, that top lane gank opens up the map top side. Same can be said for the bot gank, as both sides getting traded out here 1 minute until this dragon spawns. Burrito Bear needs to be careful here, clearing out vision, and oh no, the piercing darkness finds its mark on a low health Victor. That means it's going to be all the easier for the side of Pest Control to clear out vision and play this dragon fight on their terms. I feel like that's kind of important for the LeBlanc. Needs to make sure that she doesn't get insta-CC'd when she tries to pop into the fight. Would rather come in from the fog. And I mean, it's not great face checkers on the side of LMA if they need to walk into a foggy river, right? Everyone's pretty squishy. Gragas is not a tank. Nidalee's not a tank. Thresh is not a tank. So we'll have to rely on their zaps, their spears, and their traps, and their barrels to get them information here. We will have I Can't Win trying to fight off Carrying Boats, who does have a decent lead for himself after claiming that top lane tower. Or actually, rather, the CS still winning out there for Can't Win. Dragon is on the Rift. First items across the board as Hex Flash from Curse, but the hook doesn't find its mark. Neither does the Flay, so there's no Glacial Augment slow. The Zap connects. Capalot trying to find the spear, but Yuta evades it, hits the Dawning Shadow as now, excuse me, the Last Embrace as Carrying Boats TPs on in. And so they burn the TP off the Mundo. And they're going to try to just commit now to the objective. Lil Mac, though, is going to be caught out. He's going to try to get the lantern, but the storm surge from the skies. And Potato Senpai able to find that all-important pick. Easy dragon take from there. And this game going much better for Pest Control thus far. They've got the first two dragons under tow. And I mean, they were able to fight that before the second item advantage was through for this Jinx. But now, the Herald trade might not be as good of a trade as Capalot would like. The chains are going to lock him up. Potato Senpai's going to look for another kill, but Burrito Bear is there for some defense for now. Meanwhile, I Can't Win. I don't know if he's going to win against the Wukong, especially when we're throwing out barrels like that. Curse of Dragons is going to try to come up here, but his jungler is down. His top laner's down. And Burrito Bear is going to try to fight his way out of this one. Has some good damage onto Yuta, but here comes Potato Senpai with another combo, another distortion, and another death for Burrito Bear. Lomac is going to try to set up shop here to defend his support, but the lantern, excuse me, the hook out to the blue buff is going to do something. Yuta does force the flash because of the shroud, and that means Potato Senpai will take it from here. He'll even leave Lil Mac to a Storm Surge proc. That did not happen. As, okay. I mean, Lil Mac able to get in for something for the side of LMA, but had to burn the flash to do so. That tricky little Shadow Shroud, making it so that Yuta was not targetable. Great work by everyone involved. But either way, we still have Pest Control building that lead now, right? Picking up all these kills off the back of a dragon take. Now 3.5k gold in the lead. They've got two items on their Mundo. Second item, Hard Steel, is a choice. I can't say I've seen it too often, but you know, might be good. You do see two items as well on Easy Hister's Wukong. We're going to have a Lantern playing mid. Nicely done by Curse of Dragons. Kamikaze going to try to flash back with the Rukar. Has the Wukong here, but the Cyclone isn't going to save the ADC. Now another hook comes through, and suddenly things might be going the way of LMA until the LeBlanc strikes them down. A double kill for Potato, and he's hungry for more. LMA might be next on the chop and block. He's chained, he's comboed, but he's actually gonna stay alive for long enough. Capalot now finding a double kill, and now we have LMA on the attack, on the front foot. Carrying boats comes here, but he's gonna have to carry himself to the grave or carry himself out with the blast plant. So a lot of ego checks there from Pest Control. As, you know, we got Kamikaze playing very aggressive on the wave. Curse Dragons with a nice punish to start that play here with the Thresh. Looked like, you know, the LeBlanc is going to bring this one home, but overextends and unable to kill Lil Mac through the barrier. Miscalculation. And gives over a very hefty bout of gold to the enemy team. They do keep the Mundo shut down, but, I mean, losing out on that kind of fight, gold a lot more even now, as the Jinx and the Nidalee more than happy to pick up those shutdowns. We do see that Capalot's, you know, not going for the Echoes of Helia build, so his heals will not be packing as much as I would maybe prefer, but that damage from Potato Senpai is packing a good bit, but he's flayed, he's hooked, and oh no, there's no more damage in the tank. Gotta be conscious of that. As the LeBlanc Thresh has a telegraph skill shot, you can't be getting caught like this. There's no insta CC for Potato to play around. He's been given the lead. He was the one the jungle played around. We can't see mistakes like that in the later fights, because that is a whole lot of their gold lead. But carrying boats, trying to build his lead in the side as Cursed Dragons is caught around this dragon. Can't be face checking all alone as a poor little Thresh, and so that will probably be sole point despite some mid lane tragedies. Capalot probably can't really stick around with Potato Senpai lying in wait. He's going to summon up the Herald to drive it somewhere. Soul Point definitely feels very nice for the side of Pest Control. And the fact that a lot of these champs like this AP Nidalee, like this damage Gragas, didn't maybe get off to the early games that they would have liked. So now we'll see how much Lil Mac Attack can do if Burrito Bear can dig himself out of the chasm that he finds himself in, because those backline threats can certainly be scary, and so can Curse of Dragons here, Hex flashing in on the Thresh, but the death sentence goes wide. It's in the margins of the pages, as Yuta and Kamikaze will be A-okay. Three items now up and available for this Jinx. Knight's Vow as well for Curse to try to help soak up some of the LeBlanc damages. Kamikaze is getting very low in a fight for this mid wave, but his jungler is, or excuse me, the enemy jungler is out of luck as well. Hook is going to come through from Curse as well, but he's just going in straight for the backline. Lil Mac now might be out of options as there's a Mundo running him down and clocking him with the ukulele. Potato trying to get in there. Doesn't quite finish the Jinx, but the Mundo is not going to stop until he gets that kill. We're just fighting over something, I'm sure, as it is 2 for 2 in the top river. It was a good initial find out to Kamikaze, not expecting that crit damage from the Jinx getting hit up by the zap, but now maybe it's Curse of Dragons not expecting the extended play. Burrito Bird just gonna flash in, not able to finish off his adversary, but now Yuta's gonna get caught on the Senna by the body slam, flash tried and true for I Can't Win. And so a lot of messing around, but you know, the big thing I'm caring about here. Lil Mac, no flash. I Can't Win, no flash. Burrito Bear, no flash. Cap-A-Lot, no flash. Those are all going to be pretty big for this upcoming dragon fight. Flash is still there on Easy Hister. Flash is still there on Potato Senpai. These are the guys that you've got to watch for in this next fight because they can dictate so much as to whether that initial Cyclone is finding the right targets, whether LeBlanc is popping without getting popped. And we'll see Potato continue to be annoying with the distortion. And if you're on the side of low max attackers, yeah, you'd like some more time to scale. You'd like to get this Victor some more gold, but it's not going to really happen. This LeBlanc's probably going to be wearing a nice little hat. Mundo's going to have a Spirit Visage with no magic pen really to your name as blue side. And things can get, you're not going to fight on terms you want if you're Lil Mac attack up to this soul point. But hey, we've seen LMA fight back from a lot worse than a 1k gold lead. We'll see if they can set up the Jinx for success despite her not having any of those key summoners. Hex Flash in, but Yuta knows he can just hide behind the wave. Hide in his Shroud. Curse, Cap-A-Lot, Lil Mac gonna try to push up in mid. They know LeBlanc is bot. Wukong shadowing her, so they don't have much to fear as of now. No TP available for carrying boats. I Can't Win does have his from the role quest, so. But first, it's going to be a search for the LeBlanc to make sure their flanks are clear. Does buy the time needed for carrying boats to get on down here. That sentence goes wide. Potato just going to go forward, look for the chunk. Doesn't quite get it. But hey, they're controlling the vision. They're making sure that no one's walking in here for free. They've got the bouncer Mundo. They've got the bouncer LeBlanc. And the rest of the team is going to go to work on the dragon. Now Cap-A-Lot could be chunked out here. Hook, though, is there onto Potato Senpai, and they blow up the LeBlanc. Now here comes the fight as Easiest is looking for the angle onto the back line, but the Jinx has found a reset, except Kamikaze is able to fight back. It's going to be now Mundo on the front lines. Has the ultimate still going. Has the passive. He's walking forward with impunity. Easiester finds Curse on the side of the fight. And even though they lose the LeBlanc, it will be a nice fight and a nice fight win for the side of Pest Control. Taking out 3 and looking for the last prize of the soul. Cap-A-Lot not able to find Kamikaze on the backside of the fight, and now Easiester is hot on his tail. The monkey is gonna slay the cat if he just gets in range for another Nimbus strike. Cap-A-Lot's gonna try to walk this one out, but eventually Easiester gets him. No more shenanigans from the Macaw. Dragon will reset, but it is a well-deserved Cloud Soul for the side of Pest Control. Yeah, you think maybe LeBlanc goes down super early without much value. You know, from there we can take the fight. But Lil Mac just doesn't have a whole lot of space to work with on the top side of that fight up against the Mundo. No one's able to really clear a path for him, clear away from him to free fire. Kamikaze, meanwhile, able to do that himself with the Feather Storm. And now we're seeing Yuta try to push the issue here as they find Curse trying to ward up defensively. Nice little pick there. They do use the Wukong Cyclone, so we'll see how committed they are to a possible Baron. They do have TP available on carrying boats. He's pushing away in the bot side. Yeah. I mean, I do have to give quite a bit of credit to carrying boats for this game, right? Game number 1, he counterpicks Mbessa with the Renekton. It doesn't really go too great. All things considered, I think kind of outclassed by can't win in that one. As meanwhile, Potato's just going to outclass Jinx by pressing all the buttons. Baron secured as well. Capalot trying to get his Raptors, and he will, but now needs to contend with a pretty powerful Mundo. Iron Boats should be a-okay to soak up a whole lot of damage. He's cast back, hooked, but I mean, where's the damage going to come from? Dawning Shadow is going to help make sure Carrying Boats is super healthy through all of this. We can hook him again, but we're not going to have anywhere near enough damage while our Jinx is respawning. Spear does connect onto the Wukong, but Capalot's down 2 levels. They're going to flash in. Kamikaze has to go up into the skies. The burn isn't going to kill him through the barrier. And now Burrito Bear down that important summoner. Potato just goes in and destroys another victim of his choosing. This is what you like to see from Best Control, fighting back after that game 1 loss. I mean, Potato, he built up a good lead. It's what you expected in Syndra Galio game number 1. But never really converted into anything, never really had a proper team fight. This time, he gets it rolling from minute 1 alongside Easy Hister. And now 4 items strong. He can just go after whoever he wants. And hey, I mean, we even saw that if he dies immediately, his team may still win anyway. And a big part of that definitely is Carrying Boats. You know, he had a rough game 1, but here in game 2, it's a rough matchup early into the Gragas. Goes down a bit of CS, but he stands strong, gets some help from his Wukong to really nail down that top lane tower. And from there, he has been very valuable in these fights and in the side lanes, scaled up as that Dr. Mundo. And now Carrying Boats can just kind of shrug off whatever these mages throw at him. Potato's going to look, gets the locket off, just kind of visiting Lil Mac there. And soon, 3 inhibitors will be done. Potato just goes in, finds a distort, forcing a flash at a Little Mac. As now the engage comes through from Easy Hister. They're trying to just play the fight front to back, but the Super Mega Death Rocket almost finding a reset, but Potato actually going to die on the distortion. Lil Mac trying to open up here, but the Mundo is right there to hit him over the head and end any hopes of a Lil Mac comeback. It's going to be a game 2 win over to Pest Control, forcing a game 3. Nice stuff from Pest Control, fighting back and having a nice controlled, game number 2. They get some good early leads, especially through that mid jungle, and that pressure just snowballs from there. There were a few hiccups here and there of people getting caught and made it maybe a bit hairier than it needed to be. But hey, when you got a full item lead on your mid lane or an item lead on your jungler and the enemy team is playing Nidalee, nice job closing it out there for Pest Control. And we'll see now how the side of Lil Mac attackers respond, right? This team has yet to play a game number 3. They've been able to 2-0 both of their matches so far. We will likely continue to see Capalot's champ pool get pinched here with typical Cho'Gath, Viego, Lee Sin bans. And we'll see what else he can do. We are going to see pretty similar bans here as Vladimir Talon taken off the board. Diego Chogat down as well. Jungle ban for Cap-a-Lot. Pantheon, though, now not banned away, is going to be an early take from Lil Mac. Attackers, definitely a nice flex pick that can go in 4 different positions, but does kind of rely on opening up the map early, getting some side lane plays with the Starfall. We will see the Zehen come out, the Zahungle. We'll see Zehen in some cases as a solid top lane pick, but not quite a fan of him going too early when the enemy team can form a kind of simple comp that's just going to outrange him and make it difficult for him to really get on anyone. But one of the champs that would have done that very nicely for the side of LMA is that Ashe, and it is immediately picked away. At this point, the only thing left that Lil Mac has played thus far in DMV is the Sivir. We'll see if they want to play, a Sivir Alistar combo or something like that, or if they are thinking through what can they use to deny the Seraphine from being paired with the Ashe and forming that impressive duo. It is going to be Yunara for Lil Mac. Had quite a few solid games on this in DMV Winter. Likely means we're getting a Lulu pairing for Curse here. It will be kind of light on engage if this ends up being a Pantheon in the jungle. But I feel like it may be what you have to do. Or we can throw in the early Mel. So they are not going to wait till the last ban phase. This time, they're going to get the Mel nice and early before she's taken out. And see what she can do. Can be flexed between mid and support. Similar to, that Blitz supports that can't peel for their hyper carry. But still an option. Likely a mid lane pick here for Lil Mac attackers and Burrito Bear, but you never know. The counter on the other side for Potato Senpai will be that Orianna. There are still some very nice pairings for the Orianna, right? We can throw in a Nocturne. We can throw in a Fury. All these junglers that can definitely enable Ori, help her with the ball delivery. But now in second phase of bans, I think it is. We're going to need some simple engage. We're going to take that Ornn off the board. They can play some Scion, but Scion, not kind of the instant, easy engage that an Ornn provides. Malphite also banned away, would have comboed nicely with the Orianna. An interesting one there. They do feel like Zehen maybe has some flexibility, or they still believe in Malphite jungle over there on the side of LMA. We'll see if Pest Control want to reveal anything about their jungle pick, or if they're just going to lock down this bot lane. They were denied the Seraphine, so they go for Yuta's Alistar. Let's see if he can find those engages, if he can be the shockwave delivery system for Potato Senpai. Now back on the side of LMA, the Lulu is still up and available. It looks like they feared the Morgana a bit more. Would have been an interesting pairing. I feel like it's got to be Lulu and some sort of engage, right? You don't have the Nautilus on the board. Could still maybe see a Rakan. It is going to be Scion for I Can't Win over there in the top lane. Definitely a super strong champion. Definitely don't mind him into Zehen. We'll see how much space he is able to create for what can be certainly a very scary backline of Yunara and Mel if they are given enough time to fire. I think the support pick going to be a bit interesting. Do they want to play on the front lines. Do they want to play this Pantheon support and be Swain in? Technically could see this Swain Mel Pantheon flexed all over the place. It does kind of expose the Yunara and the Mel in a way that I'm not particularly fond of, but Swain can definitely have his moments. He's not really against a particularly low damage team. Yes, Ashe is more utility. Orianna's a bit more utility, but Swain, I mean, he's not against short range. He's not against Callista. He's not against, you know, a Neferi or anything like that. But we'll see how much purchase he's able to have, because he can still be very tanky. And we are getting confirmation that is actually Swain support. I think that makes a bit more sense. Still feels like we're kind of fishing for never moves as our form of engage. Maybe you favor old reliable in the Lulu enchanter down there. So yeah, it is going to be Swain support, Pantheon jungle, Scion top, Mel mid for the side of Lil Mac attackers. But hey, that set is a very interesting pick. We've seen the Pit Fighter come out in a few scenarios over the last few years as like a very strong early game champion, good level 1 that you can try to push out people with. But in this game, it feels like he is just waiting and waiting to dunk the wrecking ball of a Scion into the enemy team and just destroy this backline from the word go. Because, yeah, I mean, Scion can't stop his Soul Furnace from stacking. There are plenty of champions that can be like, okay, maybe I'll build some more resists against Scion. Maybe I won't stack some health. Scion kind of has to with his Soul Furnace, so we'll see if carrying boats can carry this Scion and just drop a nuke on the back line with that showstopper. We are into game number 3. We are going to see some early scuffling. Pest Control not going to let what happened last time with losing that early Wukong flash happen this time around. So they send some more people up to this banana rush to deny that one. I can't win again, taking the Ignite for a 3rd game in a row. As Scion is definitely interesting. We'll see how much that is able to pay off for him. Had a very good lane phase in game number 1. Game number 2 was solid, but didn't quite convert it into much. And now, even on the I'm playing for the Team Scion pick, he is looking ready to squash someone in lane. But he's going to get squashed off the bat. Set very strong level 1 with the passive, with the Qs. Meanwhile, level 2 spike is hidden bot, but the never move doesn't connect. And so Yuta and Kamikaze stay safe. Evade possible disaster. Potato's getting very low in mid. Flash, auto, and Burrito Bear is getting off strong. First blood for the Mel. After being bullied all at game 1, after getting consistently pressured and just put through the ringer, Burrito Bear fighting back here with an early 1v1 kill. Potato maybe not respecting that pop damage that can come through from the Mel before you've got your boots on you, before you got that ability to really just sidestep all of Mel's telegraphed abilities. Potato gets punished. Doesn't have the TP to even get back to lane, but is still in a solid spot now in bot lane. Yuta goes for the combo. Curse of Dragons now on the Swain with no flash. He's slowed up. He's brought back by the dreaded return And it's a nice play out from the bot lane. But a lot of flashes blown by Pest Control. Now I can't win, getting very low. The Haymaker is enough. And now the Decimating Smash into the Ignite, carrying boats very low, and I can't win. Finds a solo kill as the Scion. Meanwhile, Easiest are trying to work his way up. Doesn't find the dreaded return as Curse is up here to fight over this Scuttle. And Capalot has arrived and finds a flashless Orianna. They don't quite have the damage, but the last spear strikes true. And game number two, rather, the script has completely flipped as Burrito Bear getting some assistance from his jungle to put Potato down in an early hole. Yeah, and the simple advantage of like, hey, you may have killed Cursed Dragons in bot lane, but he immediately from that recall pushes up the top lane, helps his team around the Scuttle, make sure that, you know, these kill timings were a bit awkward. Could have led to a double Scuttle for Easister. They deny that. They pick up the kill on Potato. And this early Mel that was denied during second phase of bans in game number 2, paying off quite well here. But Potato's still playing a good bit aggressive. I mean, he's going to lose, I don't know, a lot of these trades as he's trying to get this wave in. A scuffle in bot lane as Capalot is going to get you to down, and they're going to take him up. Meanwhile, topside carrying boats had the ulti advantage to get the kill, but he is slapped down by the zombie. So now we are seeing a modest 1k gold lead thus far for the side of Lil Mac attackers. But, you know, some of the things that Pest Control were looking to do, still paying off, right? They've still got this set, you know. Yeah, he got beat up by a zombie, but he's able to find some pressure, some advantage with that soul kill. Now might be setting up for the jungler to arrive here. There's the face breaker against the minions, and now with Easy Hister up here, they're going to try to finish the job. Scion, still very tanky. Does use the ultimate to now try to get himself back into the fray with Capalot up here. It's a flash out from Easy Hister. I can't win trying to turn that one around in the top lane rather than just escape. Will pay off with the jungler helping him get that wave in. As carrying boats, though, may have found I Can't Win in a precarious position. I Can't Win just going to concede and try to get the wave. But meanwhile, the mid lane, Potato is getting this Mel down very low and with no mana. Same deal on the top side as All right, Burrito Bear forced to flash in mid, carrying boats, but a solo in top. The solo lanes are pulling through here for pest control. Ash Arrow to the top side doesn't find much. As now Dragon is on the map, but Capilot maybe thinks better of an early start. Never Move connects. A lot of damage onto the Ash. She's going to try to play forward until she flashes out. Good headbutt out from Utah. And a flash from Curse doesn't quite get the job done. But now, here's Lil Mac with the ulti on the Yunara. Another Never Move connects. And they force the flashes out of both bot laners. It will be a dragon secured, so all that effort from Lil Mac and Curse to get that bot lane advantage doesn't go without its rewards. As another Never Move, this time gonna miss. We're going to see carrying boats continue to try to push forward on this set. Does have to be kind of conscious now that the Grand Starfall is up and available. All these flashless laners on the side of pest control need to be a bit careful. You can see Potato Senpai now with some boots on his shoes with the Lost Chapter in his pocket. He's doing fairly well in this lane now, able to evade some of those early Mel trades. And, you know, last game, we saw Burrito Bear actually will hold this thought as a nice Never Move comes out. Yep, that is going to be a death right on time, just as planned in the script. As Potato is going to go down 0-3-0 on the Orianna. But yeah, I mean, last game, we saw the LeBlanc of Potato Senpai get ahead very early on. It felt like Burrito Bear never really had any purchase. Never had any opportunity to play, just kept getting killed over and over. This time, you know, doesn't feel like Burrito Bear has quite opened up the game to that extent. But definitely happy to be in a advantageous position here as the Mel, still with a solid couple wave lead in CS. Even if it's not complete domination 2-level lead just yet. Never Move that time going to be evaded. Capilot has worked his way into the bot lane, but is spotted, clears out the vision. See if carrying boats does anything with the knowledge of where the Pantheon is. Knows he can't be caught out by a Grand Starfall and just is able to do stuff like this. Play up in the Silence face. Ash Arrow does connect. They get the cleanse out. They knew Easy Hister was right there, so Lil Mac not going to mess around. Just burn the Summoner. Live to fight another day. As meanwhile in mid, here's the Grand Starfall from Capilot. They just flash on forward. And the Eclipse and the damage from the Pantheon. More than enough to get that kill. Meanwhile, topside, carrying boats had to flash away here as the Sun does still have the ultimate, but Pantheon's looping in behind him. Here comes the Showstopper, but he's in the tower range. Carrying boats trying to full commit with the Haymaker, but he doesn't have the damage. Oh, things maybe not coming up for the pests here. As Pantheon now finding some great plays with the Starfall, immediate up into the top lane, and even if he doesn't get involved in the kill, this top laner more than capable of just soaking up what Carrying Boats was trying to do there. Now we might have a battle over the Raptors. Cursed Dragons continuing to be active on the Rift, working with his jungler. And there's the stun and the exhaust. Here comes some demonic ascension and easy hister. The Raptors were, I'm going to say not worth, as he's also going to lose his red, possibly his Krugs. Yuta was not close enough. Another never move there onto Potato Senpai. Yuta, though, with the combo onto Burrito Bear. No shockwave, though. Potato's getting very low, but they're able to find the kill. Meanwhile, on bot side, Lil Mac just forces the issue with a 1v1 solo kill, with the supports getting up to their usual nonsense. AD carries don't want to be left out, but Yunara definitely going to have the better end of that trade. I believe it was an item advantage for Lil Mac in that kerfuffle. We are going to have Ocean Dragon on the Rift, and I mean, not any major leads just yet from that gold lead that the side of LMA have, but they're definitely not going to have an advantage if they lose their support before the fight begins. So Enchanted Crystal Arrow gets the flash out of the Swain. The Spellslinger Shoes, definitely a nice advantage here for Burrito Bear if they can get the smell in position. But now a Haymaker, I mean, a Showstopper under the tower. I can't win. Forced to flash, so nice little angle from carrying boats as he's trying to continue to build some kind of lead. As we're going to forget how Potato Senpai got there. Meanwhile, top lane, carrying boats is going to try to lay the smackdown. No flash now on the sign, but he is pretty healthy. Still has the Soul Furnace shield. Teleport is available for both top laners. I can't win still with his ulti, but doesn't have a lot of mana, doesn't have a lot of health. So he does have to take a pit stop at the fountain. Meanwhile, Cursed Dragons is going to be found out. No flash here on the big bird, man. He's going to try to deal with it with the Demonic Ascension, but he's not able to do too much. Kamikaze with the kill. Now it's flash away as Yunara is looking to get involved, but a nice headbutt and peel from Yuta. But here comes Capelot. Here comes Burrito Bear. It's a double for the Pantheon. And now Lil Mac can rain down the autos. They may have caught out the Swain. They may have found that instant pick, but immediately Burrito Bear and Capelot able to turn the fight in the favor of the Lil Mac attackers. It's Lil Mac on the Yunara, forcing away the Ashe. So that Kamikaze can't really help the rest of his team. Forces Yuta to come in for the peel. Now we may have a play in top lane as I can't win. Does have the train if he can find an angle, but easy hister trying to stay ahead of this Scion. They are going to take a long time to knock this guy down. And with Burrito Bear here, they may just want to give up. They're going to get turned on. The Blood Well is stacked up for Zahen. Herringboat's trying to continue to play this one out, but Burrito Bear just has way too much damage. Yuta's going to try to peel, but there's only so much to do. The Swain now going to go into the Demonic Ascension. Carrying Boats is going to be taken out. 4 kills already for Burrito Bear, and they're going to make it another one as the cow is going to be served up nicely. Lil Mac with his second solo kill. It's falling apart across the rift for pest control. Lil Mac even going to get a mid tower as an additional prize. Alrighty, well, the map is not looking too good for the side of pest control. They've got a lot of work cut out for them. It's going to start with carrying boats, taking away an objective bounty on the top side, and they are still down 7k gold. Take it away, Prone.
Yeah, I mean, I caught the ending of last game, most of this game. It's just all the lanes have been really solid this game, I think, and I think it was probably counter pick top. I didn't see the draft, but Capalot trying to send it here, but plays going on both sides.
Yeah, it's just they are able to get a pick there in the top side as Shockwave isn't even going to do too much. It just clears out the wave, and now I can't win. He's just going to roll through. Lil Mac going to try to get the finishing bits of damage down, but Potato, using both of his sums, is able to get away. Meanwhile, Harold is still trying to get something done in top side. A nice Haymaker shield from carrying boats, but Burrito Bear can even go melee range of the set. He doesn't care. Meanwhile, in the bot side, it's going to be a Demonic Ascension for Curse of Dragons. Easy hister. I mean, there's not much for the Zehen to do. Lil Mac's going to free fire, pick up another double, and now it is almost 10k gold in the lead for Lil Mac attackers.
Yeah, if I'm Yunara this game, I'm enjoying life. I just get to attack. Oh my god, Potato Senpai.
Oh,
Wants
Potato
to smoke.
Senpai, though, is able to tango with the ultless Mel. Finds the shutdown as Burrito Bear. Maybe overestimating a little bit too much. So, count that as a win for the side of Pest Control. Just need a lot more.
God.
Because Dragons doesn't want to let that happen with a Flash Never move. And he's going to die as well. So, some ego checks in the top lane that Potato Senpai will gladly accept.
Well, that's two of the bounties that they need. There's two more that they gotta get. 1k on Mac Attack and 250 on, or 550 on I Can't Win. That's about what? That's about like 1.7k. If you can get that, you will only be 6k down. Winnable.
Yeah, definitely do some quick maths here. We do have... it's still going to be an uphill battle, as Infernal Dragon is going to be spawning onto the Rift in 15 seconds. We will see the side of Lomac just easily able to walk in the river, take over vision control, and I don't think there's going to be much that Pest Control can really do here.
Yeah, a fast Infernal Soul is pretty scary when half the team is just stat check champs, Swain, Pantheon, Scion. Having additional flat damage on top is just going to make life hell. They will just send this cross map into the top side, but Capalot knows and has already left his blue side empty. I mean, great planning from him. And there's not going to be a response Baron either. So really just a free dragon and some slight control traded in the top side. Maybe a wave or two dropped. Potato Senpai able to take some gold.
Yeah, they're going to maybe look for Burrito Bear, but oh god. That's a whole lot of damage from the Mel. Potato, I don't think he's got anywhere near enough damage to take out someone like that, so he's going to fall. It's a double kill for Burrito Bear. Utah and Easister thought they could find a play, thought they could find an opportunity in the mid lane, but their AD carry dies instantly to a few spells of the Mel. That's going to spell disaster for this inhibitor tower. There's going to be carrying boats knocked into the air by Decimating Smash, and
that's a 9k now. Baron on the table. This will be 10k. And the recall and the timer out the base should be the victory march. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but looking pretty rough. Looking pretty rough for the side of Pest Control.
Yeah, Baron now going to be in tow for the side of Lil Mac attackers, and a nice return to form for them here, game 2. Didn't feel like a great performance from some of their usual solid players. You've got Lil Mac and Capalot with a much better performance here in game number 3. Burrito Bear not getting completely slapped by LeBlanc Wukong, and he's paying dividends, just completely soloed out the Ashe before any action can really happen. And now with Baron, does feel like time is not in the favor of pest control as they're going to try to see what they can do to survive through the Baron siege.
Yeah, they even got two turrets available still, so even more standing gold on top of their 10k gold lead, 9k, 9.5. So they can easily just take both of those, take control of both quadrants of the map.
Yeah,
And
it's going to maybe be a play onto the Scion. The Dreaded Return misses, and Kamikaze will wear down this Scion, but not going to do anything too scary, as the bot lane is going to continue to be under siege.
yeah, I like Capilot actually hovering in mid there. One overstep onto the Scion, he can knock them up twice, and then Pantheon will just shut them down. And Capilot just hovering in between both lanes here, so his control actually has nowhere to go.
Yeah, they're going to try to send it onto the Pantheon himself, but the Scion rolls in to defend his jungler, as now Kamikaze has to reel back. It's a nice slam onto the Scion, and Burrito Bear actually very low. Has the Zonias. He's going to go low, and he's going to be taken down. Now it's up to Lil Mac to supply the damage. He's punted away by the Alistar, and it's actually going to be a winning fight until the Yunara finds her way back. Cranks through the autos, a triple, make it a quadra for the namesake player. Lil Mac completes the ace.
Hey, his team baited in the engage so they could find the highlight play for Lil Mac. That was probably the best possible fight you could get as pest control. Carrying boats landed a huge haymaker across almost everyone. And they got everyone except for Lil Mac Attack, and he was able to close out the fight. So, I mean, that's the best you can do. Now there's no set flash, no Ori flash, no Ashe flash. I think no Alistar flash for a long time too. So it's going to be much harder to find that play. But they are still alive, which means there is still a chance to play the game.
We'll see how much they're going to be able to play the game around this Infernal Soul in a minute's time. It is 4 items now on Lil Mac, while Kamikaze is still trying to straggle something together for his third. I mean, we saw in that fight, they dropped the Scion in on top of the Mel. They shockwave the Mel. They take out that carry, but it is a 2-pronged attack from Lil Mac attackers. And now we have a Starfall in the bot lane. The Chovy Belt will not buy enough space. It is a nice shockwave from Potato to buy some distance, but that blast plan is not going the right direction.
Way, bro.
And without the Orianna, this becomes much harder to defend. And, maybe they don't even need the Infernal, so maybe they can send in the Scion with that ulti. Easy Hister trying to get something here. Finds a 2-man Dreaded Return, but Kamikaze cannot fire. Here comes the drop with the Haymaker. It's a lot of damage onto the Swain, but Lil Mac, Burrito Bear are both safe and sound. Nothing doing. For the last-ditch effort, it will be Kamikaze alone on his base. And I fear the base will not be standing much longer. Flash in. Easy finish there for Lil Mac attackers, as it got a bit messy in game number 2. But they are able to still close out the series and continue their undefeated streak to start Summer Split.
Yeah, I mean, this was a beautiful game from the carries of the Mac Attack. This guy in the 80 carry position, his team sets him up and he just plays it beautifully. He does exactly what you want out of an 80 carry, nothing less. And that Yunara, like as the ADC player, that is just a Yunara wet dream kind of game. Everyone is just kind of all over the place. You have a front line that never dies, and you have CC, so you kind of just run around and auto everyone at light speed. And he did exactly that. So solid performance from him and Burrito Bear as well on this Mel.
Yeah, the 2 carries definitely putting in the work for Lil Mac attackers. Pest control, we saw some moments, so that maybe they could claw themselves back, but it was not meant to be. See what they can find in the future of DMV Summer. That is, I think, going to do it for us today. I don't know if the other game has a stream. Oh no, I think we will have a POV stream at least for the match between Fortnite, and it was an accident. Yeah, it was an accident versus Fortnite is still going on for some more DMV action before we reconvene tomorrow for Capybara and One Hyrex versus the Nian Maid Cafe to see if three-time champ Hop Tech will go down to 0-3 in the Swiss stage. Definitely an important match for those two teams. As I try to figure out how Twitch works. Do, 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 do.
You good? Wait, what are you trying to do?
That work? Oh my god, it worked. Holy shit.